Flight boss, bitch, you know, for sure. You're not listening to the Mind of an Antares Moon. I'm the Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And right now, I want to talk about curses. That's right, curses. Throwing a hex or whatever, however you want to so call it, whatever religion, whatever you are, Haitian. You know, a lot of Haitians think they are musicians and magicians when it comes to throwing hexes and all that. But I'm going to talk about being on the receiving end of a hex, being on the receiving end of a curse, being cursed, and actually being the one to give out a curse. Now, see, whatever you do, see, the universe in itself plays out in a way that the balance scale leans towards a little bit towards one side than the other. And that's just in this universe. Now, I don't want to necessarily say it leads more towards positive or negative, because it has its fair shares of days or its fair shares of times and experiences for everyone to experience each of them of itself. You know what I'm saying? So some days your days may lean more towards negativity. Some days your days may lean more towards positivity. But there's always a leaning towards one. And anytime it's a complete balance, it becomes fixed. It becomes fixed in between the cardinal and the mutable. And anytime something is too fixed, it needs to be transformed. And therefore, that's like if everything could be as, in this realm of reality, everything could be as one. It'd just be frozen in time. So I say that to say this. When we want to talk about curses, right, and being the one to give a curse, you're going to be more on the receiving end of maybe a darker side of the aspect, and being the one receiving the curse, you're going to be the one who's actually balance scaled on the positive side or the lighter side. Now, they can interchange, because there's a gift and a curse in everything, but it just depends on the actual person that's actually receiving the curse or the actual person that's actually giving the curse. Now, a hex. Now, let's talk about a curse in general. You want to say everything is I like to tie everything to things in reality also, so it can make sense for people to know how things is affecting us every day, and even to the littlest things that we may be naive about. Now, we could even talk about cursive. Writing in cursive. Now you may think, okay, that's just something that they made up for us to write in. What's wrong with that? It may not be nothing wrong with it on a large scale. But no, well, I want to say on a small scale. But on a large scale, you have to look at it like this. When you just writing from a left brain perspective, writing linear, every letter is like starts with like, it's only a few curvage letters, but most of them start with a line type of basis, like A, straight line, B, straight line, then C is the curve, then you got E, then you got D, that's a straight line, then you got E, that's a straight line, then you got F, that's a straight line, then G, that's a curve. You know what I'm saying? And then it goes on and goes on and goes on. So what happens here is, when you write in cursive, instead of it being straight all the time, it's more curvage. So we know that the male is square, lineage, and we know the female is round, fear-like, curvage, right? So off the bat, we know that curse deals with more of the yin energy, of the female energy. Now, when I'm speaking of the female and male energy, by no means necessary am I even talking about a female or a male representation playing through a human. You know what I'm saying? Now, you just because you appear as a male, you just may show a lot of characteristics from the male energy. Just because you're a female, you just may be a physical representation of the female energy, but that's just it, the physical representation of it, and you may share some of the qualities. But if you're a female, you have a lot of male energy in you, and if you're a male, you have a lot of female energy in you. So you need to get that out your head when you're watching my videos, when I start to say things like male and female, because I'm talking from a higher frequency. Now, when we talk about this, right, as far as we know, since cursive, the writing in cursive is more curvage, we know it's dealing with more yin energy, more fluid. It's not this letter, then this letter, then this letter. It's more connectiveness. It's more curvage, round, more able to connect. So we know it's dealing with the fluid. And we know anytime we dealing with a fluid at any kind of density, it could be a form of a representation of a liquid or your soul or experience or time. So when we talk about a curse, we know a curse has to deal heavily with the fluid realm. So a curse won't work unless there's heavy emotions and feelings involved, because we know anytime we're dealing with water is a lower frequency of a liquid. Liquid is a lower frequency of a fluid. Fluid is the highest frequency of it. It may not even look like how a fluid look like on Earth, but we know that the representations of it, just like your soul and emotions. Your soul and emotions don't look like fluid. You can't touch it to look like fluid, but we know water in astrology represents the emotions and the feelings. We know the moon controls the tide. So we know it's connected. So we have to understand that they're connected, just in different type densities. So on my channel, I like to break down the specific actual programs that things is in, so you can have a better understanding of it. So we know right now a curse is in the realm of reality of curvage. So we know curvage, like cursive and curvage, that deals with the yin realm. We know the yin realm deals with experience, time, which is lower frequencies of fluid. We know fluid is the highest frequency of everything that falls under it, which is your soul, anything liquid like, fluid like. So we know in order for a curse to work, it needs these attributes. So right now we can separate it from the spirit realm, which is the ideas, your thoughts, your space, room, and opportunity, and we can separate it from the physical realm, which is what you see external, or what's physically the ship you're in. Now, it's going to play out through all three of your realms of reality, but I'm just telling you how a curse is going to work in general. Now, let's start off with a person who's actually throwing a curse. Now, the person who's throwing a curse or throwing a hex on someone, right? Now, there's a good and bad in everything, so you need to be consciously aware, and you need to be a magician to a certain degree to understand what you're actually doing, because you could be creating bad karma for yourself. Now, when you're throwing a curse on someone, first of all right, let's talk about a person who throws a curse first before I break down, because I don't want to give somebody the science of throwing a curse and this person is going to use it out of their own personal gain. First, let's break down a person who's unaware and they're trying to throw a curse. 9 times out of 10, a person who throws a curse or throws a hex on someone is in a very dark time in their life. And it doesn't matter how happy they may feel about the darkness that they're in. They're in a dark time in their life, and a lot of times to actually come up with the conclusion that you want to throw a hex on someone or throw a curse on someone, you have to go through certain programs, certain fears of realities. Like, for an example, when someone tell me that they threw a curse on someone or they cursed someone, 9 times out of 10, the first couple programs I've seen them going through is they must have went through a depressed program, a sorrow program, a guilt program, or a hatred program, a jealousy program, or a heavy stressed out depression program. So these are some of the only hell gateways that leads to accesses of areas of realms of reality that your soul will even be able to travel to even come up with concepts of wanting to throw a hex or throw a curse on someone. So it starts with your fluid realm first. It starts with your emotions and feelings first. 9 times out of 10, the person who's throwing a curse, they have been hurt in their yin realm to a certain degree with their emotions and their feelings. And and their soul have been taken to a dark place, and any physical representation, spiritual representation, or fluid soul representation that of the light that may have drugged your soul down into the dark, you're going to lash out at it. So what happens here is, when you throw a curse or throw a hex, 9 times out of 10, you have this real strong emotion of someone. Now, and it's a dark emotion. That what makes it a curse, and that's what makes it connects. That's what makes it connect, because it's an emotion, it's a feeling. So by us living in a collective consciousness, we're going to share a lot of shared realities, but it's important for us to know thyself, so we can know not to let certain realities that we're sharing affect our own perception of reality. But we're going to get there. Now, when a person actually throw a curse, throw a hex, right? What they did was throw their emotional weight. So they threw what they emotionally felt to themselves, put it in the collective conscious, and since you're the representation of it, every time you're in a situation that involves something that has to do with what may have hurt this person that's cursing you, you're gonna add to the collective conscious of that reality and end up experiencing pieces of that, because we're in fluid. Wherever we at, a realm of reality is a form of a fluid. You have to have the idea of a realm of reality first, have an emotion and feeling about it, that puts it in a fluid, that creates it, and then the more the experience, the more added density it becomes, to the point that it can get willed into reality and be able to be touched and physical and external. See, so this what happens even when you get a curse thrown on you. A person has the idea about you hurting them. They scoop up all the emotions and feelings from that idea and start to experience it. So then they start to play it out externally. So a lot of times they learn tricks from people, like they may get dolls and stuff like that and think that's all they need to do, when really it's just you don't need none of that. It's really just with your emotions and feelings. But you have a lot of gypsies and stuff out here who may tell you, and voodoo people who may tell you that you may need certain things in order for it to work. So you have naive people who are throwing curses and hex on people that's unaware of what they're actually doing. So they have this strong emotion and feeling, but they're going to do these rituals, which that's it. Anytime you're using appliances of the earth and using the 4 elements, you're doing a ritual. So you're going to get a doll, or you're going to get something, and then you're not even knowing the metaphysics of that, and then you're tying it to you trying to throw a curse on someone, and then the initial curse is the emotion and feeling that you keep going through with wanting to do with this person. So you start to manifest a bunch of bullshit for yourself. But initially what a curse is, for an example, say you sat back and you wanted someone to get into a car accident, right? Now you have this emotion and feeling. You had that idea that you wanted to get them in a car accident, right? So then you get this emotion and this feeling about it, and how happy you would be, and then you get into other people's shoes, how sad they would be. You start to enjoy that feeling and expression. Now, here's when you have to start to put in work. You have to do this every day. Every day. You have to consume a large amount of your time, because attention is whatever you're paying attention to, you're going to receive. You know what I'm saying? So you need to give your energy. Not saying you need to, but I'm saying this is how it works. You can't just be like, oh, I cursed someone and then forget about it, because you're not going to be cursed. That's not the connectedness of it. You need to every day wake up and have this person on your mind, and create new emotions and feelings on how they could be in a fucked up situation, whatever. This orb is going to go into the quantum field, right? Now it's going from your own self-conscious going into the collective conscious. Now, since we all live in a collective conscious, every time you put yourself in a situation, every time you think about what you done to this person, or anytime you feel this person or this person that's cursing you, you're gonna tap into the collective conscious of that reality and start to perceive some of the reality of the Harper and feelings that this person is giving to you. Now, Here's when the person who's throwing the curse end up in a bad situation. Because if the curse involves something that's selfish, something that's not looking at both sides, uncompromising, something that, because you know when you're unaligned, you know when you're really not doing right, you know when you got that feeling of, man, I just want to do this, but I know it ain't really right, but I just need to do this because this person need to learn or something like that. You know when you got those type of feelings, and that's in any situation, even if you're not involved with a person, even if it isn't just a situation. So don't act like you don't know. And if you're just a dumb person, you're gonna keep falling short anyway, so it doesn't matter. But for the sake of this video, if it's any of those programs that you're going through, and that's the reason why, even if it's because a person cheated on you, if that's the reason you throwing a curse on someone, then you're going to receive a karma from that, because these are not actual reasons to be cursing someone. You have to actually have a back against the wall type situation in order to curse someone and be free of the karma, of the karma from it. It has to be someone who just actually doing something out of their own malice to you, and you had no energy put into that force at all. Therefore, whatever that person got that you have done to that person was their own learnings and their own karma, and you was just used as a vessel for that person to realize that. But when you're out doing something because of what someone did to you, and then you did something to them, and it gets the tit for tat, and you know what I'm saying? You know when you start getting into them realms. So this one, that can end up bad for you as the person who's throwing the curse. So be careful. Make sure you're consciously aware before you're throwing any. That's why you're really not supposed to be throwing any curses anyway. You know what I'm saying? They're supposed to say forgive everyone. You know what I'm saying? But God didn't forgive everyone, and God did forgive everyone. So it's not the fact that you have to forgive everyone. That's not the key. Yeah, you can just not forgive someone or not forget. But the key is, and here's when we finna get into the flip side, to the person who's actually receiving the curse, and how you're supposed to handle it when you receive the curse. Now, on the receiving end, right? Your job and duty and obligation is to change yourself every day. You are not who you was yesterday. That's why you take baths or whatever like that. When you jump into the bath, that's the actual reason. That's the actual baptize. Everybody baptized every day. That's what the Bible actually taught. All this metaphor, other shit behind it is ridiculous. It's when you get in the water or the shower, you get all the emotional baggage that you just did yesterday, and you release it with the waters of which you're soaking in. And then once you're done taking a bath, you get out, dry yourself off. You don't feel the same way you felt yesterday. You are a new person. See what I'm saying? You are a new person, a new Merkaba in this vessel. This spaceship may look the same that you in this realm of reality, but that's just because of the realm of reality you choose to express yourself externally in. But your internal should never be the representation of what you was yesterday. And if you keep holding emotional baggage till today, you're going to carry it into lifetimes, to the point that you just can't put yourself into density. But that's another video. I got a video for that. Y'all can go to my video about the past, present life, and past karma and things. Now, as a person receiving the karma, now this is why you're supposed to feel like you would. Now, I'm not saying be a shiesty person, because you know when you're doing wrong, and you know when you're supposed to make things right. So let's not be stupid. Let's not be like, well, I did a lot of fucked up shit yesterday, but Archangel Uriel said I could just take a bath and not give a fuck about them niggas, or not give a fuck about them bitches. No, I'm not telling you that. No, you know when you put an energy and effort that over oppose someone else, and you're unaligned, and you know you didn't done right. Nah, make things right. But I'm talking about for the sake of just, you have the naive person out here that you may have hurt unintentionally, and now they're throwing a curse on you. Now, you sitting back now, here's what's going to happen, right? Because the more you feel about the situation and have the emotion in the situation, you add to the collective consciousness, and you're going to start experiencing the shared collective consciousness of what this person may have. Now, the stronger yours may be, and the more powerful, if this person is heavily into voodoo, heavily into a lot of shit, then 9 times out of 10 they're gonna have enough energy to put in every day of cursing your ass. And they may write a lot of shit out on paper, do a lot of shit, and put a lot of energy and a lot of emotions and feelings. So if they strong like that, then it's important for you to forget this person, because the curse can only affect you the more and more you dive into it. So if you sitting back somewhere smoking and shit, and then you telling somebody the story of what you just did, boom, you add to the collective conscious. Now, depending on how strong this person's orb is, like I was just explaining, how much is they into it or how light they into it, that's how much you gonna pick up on it. Then how much you dive into it every day is how much you gonna receive of it. And this bad shit gonna be happening. You're gonna be like, damn. And you ain't gonna know why bad shit happening, because it's gonna be mad random shit. But 9 times out of 10 is because you giving energy to your feelings and emotions about this person that you may have hurt. And then it's even worse if you don't even know that they throwing a curse on you. Now, say you a person that's just out here doing all kind of crazy shit anyway. People just gonna come and go in your life anyway. So subconsciously you kind of forget what you do. So see, the curse don't work. But see, that's when it start to get physical, because if this person's strong enough to keep the emotions and the feelings in it, they're going to will it into density, and the more it get willed into density, it becomes external, to the point that this person have to reach out to you in some type of way for you to remind your spirit about this person. So this person may do something to you to remind you of, oh, this the person that don't like me, or this person may come out in some way, shape, or form. You're going to be reminded of this person, and then that's how they draw you back in to the shared collective consciousness for you to add on to it again. So you have to be strong enough to know that's what's going on, and to learn how to forget. But see, I'm speaking as for the everyday person who don't know that this was going on, and if this is actually going on with them, they're getting cursed. Now, you're not going to be thinking of to forget this person. You're going to be thinking of, you're just going to get a crazy text one day, and you're going to be thinking of, you're just going to be thinking about, damn, this crazy ass person, why this person texting me? Boom, off the bat, you're reminded again. You're reminded of the situation. You add it in. You see what I'm saying? Or you just may have a friend or somebody tell you about something that just happened to this person or whatever like this, and you're gonna be like, damn, oh, that's that person. Boom, you remind it again. Then you start to think and add, and the more you add to it, remember, the more you add to the collective. Now, and the more you're gonna experience. Now, the key here, now, if you don't know you cursed and you are cursed, it's always gonna come to a point that you end up figuring out you cursed, because that's the only way the curse could work. The curse can only work if it's emotions and feelings involved. And if you're not thinking about this person, you're not even thinking about this person's spirit. You don't even have the idea about this person, so it's not even in your spirit. The curse can't attack you because you don't have no feelings and emotions about the situation. So people curse people every day. Let me remind you that. So it's going to come through ways of being reminded. Like, you know what I'm saying? This person has to do something to you to remind you that they're there, to remind you of the situation again. So you're always going to get, so once you get that crazy text or get that Facebook message or look on Facebook and someone telling you someone talking shit on Facebook from a private page or something like that, that's when you know right there you got reminded of your curse. If you didn't know you was cursed, you always got to be, the curse always got to show itself first. You can never be just cursed without knowing it. You know what I'm saying? When stuff start happening, it always has to show itself. It always has to show the source of where it's coming from. It always has to. Now that you know what I'm saying now that you know how to pinpoint it. You know how to pinpoint it now. So now you know when someone's cursing you. You know when you're on someone's mind. Now you know when your ears is itching for some reason. Now you know when your palms is itching for some reason. Now you know when your nose is just itching or your throat just start itching. Now, or you know when your right or your left eye start jumping. You know what I'm saying? You're cursed. Someone is thinking about you. But you know what I'm saying? Sometimes when your hands itch or your ears itch, someone's talking about you or someone want to physically do something to you. Sometimes when your nose itch, that be someone thinking positive of you, so you can sense it. But when your eye jump, sometimes that's like a curse. Your spirit see it, but your physical don't see it yet. You know what I'm saying? That's someone got ill-harbored feelings towards you at the moment. You know what I'm saying? And your body, your soul vibrating, because we're all connected. It's just the physical external may not realize it in certain ways. So, you know what I'm saying? When you are cursed, you know what I'm saying, it always has to show itself. So don't ever be, you always going to see it. Now, if you just a naive person, you just think stuff going on, you're not going to see it. But I'm telling you how to see it now. That's how it's going to approach itself. It always has to show itself and show the source where it's coming from. Now that you know you have a person out here with ill towards feelings about you, your duty is to constantly work on forgetting this person, erasing this person from your idea, erasing any idea of this person in your head. That's taking their spirit away from you, and then having no emotions and feelings about them. You know what I'm saying? Don't feel nothing about them. Don't have no emotions about them. I don't even care if you just feel like I'm just gonna let them be where they be at, but they still play. That's still having emotions and feeling. You're still gonna add to the collective shared consciousness to the point that you're still gonna share a little bit of those experiences of whatever that person is trying to attach to you. You know what I'm saying? With the curse, which ain't nothing but throwing a real dark emotional weight onto someone. Now, and the longer they keep up with it, the stronger it be, basically. Now, to resist it, you have to never feel, think, or have an emotion about this person. Therefore, the curse won't have nothing to attach to. It can't connect to nothing because you didn't have no emotions and feelings. You didn't have your fluid involved to connect with that fluid. All fluid gonna connect, but if you're not in that realm of reality, if you take your fluid out of that realm of reality, then that fluid is just gonna bypass. You brought your fluid on a higher density, and that's just a fluid in a lower density trying to carry baggage and weight and connect to yours, where you took yours and lighten your load. Therefore, you forgive a person in your soul. You forgive that person and really don't feel no way about them. So they somewhere having all these dark emotions and feelings, and you're not ever thinking about them, and you forgave them. So you took your fluid and put it in a higher density. So your fluid don't even look like their fluid anymore. Don't even feel like their fluid. Emotions ain't even down there anymore. Your fluid, your soul, your emotions, your water ain't even down there in theirs anymore. The heavy density one anymore. It's lighten up. You lighten your load. See what I'm saying? So the curse can't attack a person with a lightened load. The curse can attack a person who's not even feeling a way about that person. See what I'm saying? So that's your duty. That's your duty and obligations. If you are cursed, to not have the curse affect you, then pretty soon that person will have to flee. The curse can't just be lingering out here swimming like a water snake. It can't just be swimming with nothing to attach to, with nothing to leech onto. It's going to starve and die to the point that misery loves company. It's going to have to go to a water area where a bunch of other water snakes is at and snatch an energy vamp someone else. So it's going to jump into another relationship because it know it can't attack you because you're not paying it no mind. Why you think they say when someone talking shit, or if you got a Facebook enemy or someone like that, and you girls are arguing on Facebook, and if you're not paying attention to this chick, she just arguing with herself, what happens? Eventually she just go away. But if you add to it, what happens? Family members get involved, friends get involved, everybody got something to say about the situation now. There's a big old added density weights situation to the point that it becomes so external to the point that you guys end up fighting over some Facebook shit. To the point that if you let this person argue with herself, you lighten your load, and then to the point that, yeah, that may have been the argument that week, but she arguing with somebody else next week. Somebody else baby dad next week. You know what I'm saying? Because that it couldn't attack you no more because you wasn't adding to it. You wasn't paying no attention. You see what I'm saying? That's how you bring it into physical realms. But this whole video was just explaining that in the metaphysic realm. Everything is a curse. And the only way the curse can attach to itself to you is if you apply yourself. And you can apply yourself without knowing it just by thinking about a person. See what I'm saying? So be careful who you're around. Be careful the company you keep. Because I say that to say this. Your life depends on it. Because we're in 2017. You don't even need to be around someone that you feel like could be potentially feel like could be putting you in that situation to the point that you have to feel like this person is draining you. and they would throw a curse on you. So if you even around a person that you even look at like, yeah, I see this person looking like they could do something like that to me, get the fuck away from that motherfucking person, because your life depends on it. Flight boss, bitch, goddamn.